Hey everybody, it's your friendly tour guide, John Jennings, and this is going to be the final piece in our video tutorial series. And I'm going to just go pretty quickly over statewide planning goal 5, which we talked about before, and our implementing administrative rule in just a little more detail. And I'm going to go off camera. You guys don't need to see my face all the time. Um, and hopefully kind of connect a dot or two, or maybe just create more questions than answers. Again, statewide planning goal 5 talks about natural resources and other things, historic areas, open space, and it speaks to adopting programs that are protective of these valuable resources for present and future generations. This is language right from the goal itself. And getting into the rule that implements goal 5, our division 23 rule, there's some base level features. It's primarily a process rule. And what that means is that it lays out what local jurisdiction should go through, what they should go about in doing to identify and assess and either protect or not protect certain resource categories. That's Wallowa Lake there. I think many of you are familiar with that. And the East Moraine on the left-hand side is a example of a kind of goal 5 rich area. There's wildlife habitat and cultural significance and open space. And that was one of the first things I worked on as a professional planner. So that's kind of a part of my personal history. The rule identifies a whole suite of resources, and open space is just one of them. I think there's 14 or 16 of them. In this kind of way, I just use this because it's short. I get it all on one page, but it kind of fleshes out a little bit about a particular category. But by and large, the customary approach is to go through what we call the standard process, which involves multiple steps, but are really included in divisions or sections, I should say, 0030, 0040, and 0050. We start out with quality, quantity, and location. How good is it? How much of it is there, and where is it? Those are the fundamental questions that are being asked to determine whether something is significant, which has a specific meaning. If it's significant, then it should be considered for maybe some special treatment. If it's not significant, then it doesn't deserve special treatment. The next step is to go through what we call the EC analysis. I've heard it referred to as our own mini NEPA. I don't know if that's true or not, but what the order of operations is to try to, once you've got a significant site, you identify what uses may be in conflict, what could conflict with that resource, and then analyze the economic, social, environmental, and energy consequences, EC consequences of protecting the use fully or partially or not at all, and kind of lead to hopefully an informed conclusion. Once you've done that, once you've identified your significant sites and you've determined what the EC consequences of one approach versus another are, then you end up with we call it program to achieve goal 5. It's the last piece in the standard process. And that's where, where if there's regulatory pieces, this is where it would be. There'd be comprehensive plan provisions that are implemented by land use regulations, and that they would articulate how conflicting uses may be allowed or limited for the purpose of protecting that resource, whatever it is, whether it's open space or wildlife habitat or stream corridors or scenic historic areas. You can allow conflicting uses fully or partially. And in some instances, there's decisions that are made not to protect significant uses at all. It doesn't happen very often, but it's possible. Another piece, another different approach is what we call safe harbors. And this came out of the really the work that was put into the the rule in 1996, and it's a notion that if a local government does certain things, adopts certain provisions that are expressed in the rule, they're guaranteed compliance. So, with regards to riparian corridors, if a let's just say a county adopts a 50-foot setback from a top of bank for a stream with a particular CFS, they're guaranteed compliance. They don't have to go through those first three steps. They're guaranteed compliance. And this is important because we're going to be trying to fashion something along these lines for photovoltaic solar projects. And it's not going to look quite like this. It's not going to be quite this simple, but this is the way we want to lean. I put this together for Sage Grouse. So I couldn't help throwing this slide in here, and I just would use this to illustrate that there are a couple provisions in Division 23 that are different than that standard process. Sage Grouse is one of them. You know, Sage Grouse goes through and really details how you go about considering the presence of sage grouse and where it is. It's dependent upon ODFW maps, and it applies directly to counties that have that significant habitat. And it's a different approach, one that settles those first three issues: the location, quality, quantity questions, and conflicting use questions, and program to achieve the goal questions in the body of that subsection text itself. Here's our area. Again, this is very inspirational. It's pretty short, but this is the section in Division 23 which speaks to energy sources. And I anticipate that we will substantially rewrite this provision and provide a substantial amount of direction and guidance, and come up with a product that is substantially resembles a safe harbor for counties that elect to go through that and do it. You know, that if they accept and identify certain characteristics and principles, and they'll be guaranteed, they'll be deemed compliant with goal 5. And that may involve answering some of those questions, answering questions about location, quality, quantity, which I think translates in this context to proximity transmission and the abundance of the solar resource, but also what it doesn't have. You know, that there are not other things, whether that's community priorities or historic items or high value farmland. We're going to need to think about how we come together and assess those variety of issues to resolve and identify a clear pathway for counties that want to say, if you do this, you're Goal 5 compliant, and you can apply a reduced regulatory arrangement for siting photovoltaic solar projects. Okay, so that's I'm done for right now. Thoughts, questions, and comments, observations. We'll get to those on Tuesday, I hope, and looking forward to it. And again, I just say, you guys, let's all come to the table Tuesday morning and have open mind and creative spirit and a sense of humor. And I think we're about to step into I think a very interesting and hopefully productive set of work. Thank you very much.